Hello, everyone. Today I'm looking at Flock. I get a lot of these games that kind of roll out on Game Pass, and a lot of them I'm like, okay, this is going to be a piece of garbage. But Flock was one that was surprisingly decent, surprisingly good, and I really enjoyed it. It's just a real vibe, and what it really revolves around is kind of animals and these fictional animals, and this fictional animal kingdom essentially, where essentially it's divided into learning about the animals, discovering animals, and then also. Hello, guys. Today I'm looking at Flock. I get a lot of games that just come along on Game Pass, and usually I'm, kind of thinking, oh, this looks like a piece of trash or this looks like a piece of garbage. But this one was actually pretty good. And what it revolves around is essentially you have a game that revolves around these fictional animals, and it's just a very comfy, well-made game, which is something that is kind of more and more rare as time goes on. But the game is kind of divided into a few sections where you basically are discovering animals, naming new species, charming them so you can recruit them and bring them in your flock. And so it's really cool. You like expand your flock. You can hold up to 30 different animals at one time, and again, the game is very simple, very basic. So unfortunately, the animals don't really do anything. They don't have any special powers or anything, but that would kind of be the next step in the process. Aside that, though, the other aspects of the gameplay revolve around one mechanic where you have a bunch of sheep and you basically land them onto these patches of grass and they eat them up. And when they're done eating, not only do you get some wool, which you can use to purchase cosmetics at a store, but you also kind of get a special upgrade or something. So it's kind of nice how it incentivizes the player to play it for essentially a long while, because with time you get more and more points essentially, and so even if you over farm your sheep or whatever, there's still kind of a point to it. And so with your little kind of oh yeah, when you start the game, you used to have like this automatically a bird you ride on, and you kind of use that for the entire game. You can never dismount the bird. And basically, you just go along the world. And what's really nice is that as you progress, the clouds fall and you get new aspects of the map revealed. And so by doing that, you have different areas that you can explore, and also new avenues to speed up your travel. There's no fast travel in the game, and so the closest thing that you can get to are these giant vents of air that push you into the air, and they give you a huge boost so you can like travel not exactly across the map but pretty darn far. And you also have these certain structures like wind tunnels and caves that give you little speed boosts as well, which you can use to do, and you just press R to go through them really fast. So the game itself is honestly extremely simple, but also really, really fun to play. It's just very atmospheric. It's very comfy. It's altogether just a really nicely made game, and the music is really nice. It's very atmospheric. It's very beautiful with the scenery and everything. And you just kind of go through different kind of areas, getting different kind of lakes, swamps, mountains, and just discovering new animals. And so, if you're into comfy kinds of games, I wouldn't say this is exactly like Animal Crossing or anything, but it is, I think, a really stellar game in the aspect of how simple it is and what it accomplishes in that respect. So if you, it's kind of it has that Pokemon itch where you want to collect them all or find all the different species. Even by the end of the game, there were some species that I even used the feeders to attract all the unknown things in the area, and I still couldn't find all the species. So I actually had to look up a guide, or I might do it later if I really feel like it. What's nice is you can also fully customize your bird and your character. As I said, your sheep give you wool so you can unlock new things at the store. And yeah, it's just really a collectathon, and just there's no real story either. So again, this game will really hit or miss for a lot of people because there's so many things that I think are crucial to most games that are just missing from here. But it has a very distinct, fun style to it. The way the humans are done, all of the animals have these made up names like Bules and Drooges and stuff like this. And each one of them you can tell, oh yeah, that's supposed to be like kind of like a duck or kind of like a moose or something. And a lot of them, and everything flies in this game. I think what really makes it work really well is the fact that you can fly everywhere. And so traversing this big kind of open world doesn't feel like a chore because if you want to go really fast, you can get really good at that. And you kind of figure out the techniques for really optimizing your movement through the world. There are certain challenges where it's like you have to charm certain animals in a certain amount of time frame. The charming minigame is really you just pressing A at the right interval, depending on your distance from the target. And so as the animal's moving, you want to shoot a little music note out to them and capture them. Um, it's kind of funny as I'm talking about this game. There's a few things I would change. One, well, you have to unlock a bunch of whistles in order just to charm the animals. I would take that away and allow you to charm every animal from the outset as soon as you discover them. I think that'd be a lot more fun and allow incentivize people to collect them more rather than unlocking it. I think another thing that's extremely just missing if this game had more development time is the aspect of racing. I mean, the fact that you can go really fast when you want to in this game and find different kinds of, shortcuts, whatever in the world, I think there should have been like a racing mini game or like some kind of challenge, at least to go through the hoops in a certain time limit in this game. It seems something right up its alley. Another thing they could obviously definitely add is like a story. There really is no story. In fact, the end cutscene, your reward for the entire game after like 5 or 6 hours of playing is you restore all of the stolen things that were stolen by these burgling Mews, and you basically restore them and restore the feeder pack so you can fill up the feeder things again, and then all the animals flock to the middle of the island and all the tourists are happy and takes pictures of them and all the animals are happy. So yeah, but besides that, that's like the entire story. So there's definitely like a potential to make or build some kind of story here. There's something that they do kind of hint at. The basic gameplay loop is that you unlock a new area, you go there, you find a bunch of new species, you find a certain type of animal that's kind of strange. For example, in the forest area, you have this giant mushroom. And in fact, there's a swamp and a forest area. So in that context, you find this giant mushroom. There's this giant crystal cave underneath one of these mushrooms, and you can't go in it, and it's very ominous. And so you also find these other patches of crystals, and in each one of those, you find these special, I think, spriggets or spurs or something. These small little animals that you resemble the other animals, but they're made out of crystal, and each one of them is like aquamarine emerald. So you can tell, oh, these things are kind of important, and so you kind of intuitively figure out, along with the professor who kind of is your teacher. She kind of says, oh yeah, you kind of need to basically collect all of these crystal bugs and see what happens. And so then that unlocks, the big kind of hunt or the big chase with the new species of animal. This giant crystal, bug or whatever, or buell, and you basically need to chase it through the forest, do a little mini game, hunt it down, do a little hide and seek, and then once it's exhausted, you do the charming mini game, and you recruit it into your flock. And again, another new mechanic is that the animals would actually be able to do something. I don't know, it could be like an arsenal, kind of like Pokemon or Folklore, where you could use them. I don't know, I'm already thinking of ways this game can innovate, but as a base game, I really like the style, the setting, the tone. It's also a very short game. It kind of ends, again, after like 5 or 6 hours, but for the time that I played it, I was actually really enjoying it because it was so simple and it wasn't trying to be something super hard or super strange or whatever. But yeah, that's kind of all I really have to say about Flock. It was a surprisingly nice, decent game, and I think the developer has a lot of potential to make something really good here. It also has a night-day cycle too, which is felt very fluid, very nice, very atmospheric. Certain animals only come out at day versus night. I don't know. I just thought this game was really good and it has a lot of potential. I mean, it's okay as it is now, but it could really go places and really become something great. But anyway, that's all I got to say about Flock. And yeah, I'll see you guys later. Bye.